Well, welcome to the first session of On the Menu, and I am delighted to be here at Trinity, upstairs with Adam Byatt. Adam, welcome. Great to be with you today. Adam, you've been doing food for a long time and you've got loads of experience. Where did it all start? Where did your passion for food come from? What took you on the route of becoming a chef?
Well, it's a great question. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Rick. And
good.
It's great to be on board with Back to Story. I guess food for me started at a very young age. My mum was a chef for directors' dining rooms. Academia wasn't really my road. Struggled on that side creatively, and I wanted to work with my hands. And I'd always sort of loved food and cookery at home with mum. And when the Careers Open Day started, I found a Careers Open Day for an apprentice at Claridge's Hotel, and that just sort of felt right. I started there, and the rest was history. It's a long road.
Yeah.
It is a 30-year road for me, but that's where it started.
So, talking about food then.
Yeah.
We've got a lovely piece of halibut here.
Yeah.
Talk us through this dish, and when you talk through this dish, if you could, Adam, just obviously 2006. Trinity started?
Correct,
yes?
15 years ago.
15 years ago. So through this dish, how has your kind of food developed over that time? And
okay, so we're going to make a very simple dish. It's a ceviche of halibut with some ginger and lime, a little bit of creme fraiche, a little bit of wild garlic, and white beetroot.
Nice.
It's a very simple dish. It's on the menu now. It's typical. We always have a raw fish dish, so it might be tuna, might be sea bass, might be halibut, could be a scallop ceviche tartare, something like that. Always something like that fits with the season. And so we're just sort of coming out of that winter with white beetroot, stuff like that. So, how's the food evolved? Massively over 15 years. You just sort of start with something that was ultimately, when I first opened the restaurant, all I wanted to do was make sure the dining room was full, and actually just cook things that made sure the restaurant was full all the time, make it accessible, keep a low price point. And as you grow and grow and you get better at what you do and you find your road of food, you end up creating a repertoire of food that everyone can work with on you. And I guess, as people come through the business, it becomes more refined, and we find out what covers work for us, and how structured we are, and we just develop every year. And essentially what happens is you have a road of food, and every year you revisit it and say, let's do that artichoke dish again this year, and how can we do that artichoke dish better this year than we did last year. And if you extrapolate that up by 15 years, that dish you started with just becomes pretty impressive, right? And that's kind of, that's ideally the road of evolution. So we're just going to
halibut just coming into season at the moment.
Yeah, it is fairly seasonal. We use it at this time of year. Before, we use things like sea bass and crab really heavily in the spring. So we use a lot of halibut this time of year, and we just want to, it's going to be just raw. So we're just going to take that off, and what you get is these sort of really lovely pearlescent looking pieces off the fillet, and this can be eaten practically raw, but we're going to cure it slightly.
Nice. And Scottish. We were saying this coming from Scotland at the moment.
This is Scottish, and it's wild. So we tend to use wild fish wherever we can. Basically, this is a curing liquid or a pickling liquid, and this is done to order. So we just do this. We just pop this on at the point of order, and just let that sit for a minute. And again,
it shows that nice development, doesn't it? So if you go back again to kind of the origins of ceviche, just a little bit of lime over there typically, and
that's right.
Chili, heavy chili over there as well.
That's that's it. So salt in there, the cure on there, nicely like that, and we just let that sit for a couple of minutes.
Smells great.
What we've got next is we've taken some white beetroot, and we've salt baked the white beetroot. So we've taken white beetroot, and then which I love. They're very different, earthy flavour, but not quite as earthy as a red beetroot. They're slightly sweeter. They've got a bit more. They're a bit more refined, I think, a white beetroot. And we take them and we salt bake them. So we make an egg white and salt mix,
Yep.
and ends up like wet sand. Cover that beetroot in it, and then bake it in the oven really hot until it encrusts, and that salt penetrates through the beetroot and really gives it amazing flavour.
So working with Baxter Story now, Adam, which is really exciting for us, and super exciting for me because kind of on the Chef Academy. So how do you see that relation growing, and what do you feel you can bring to the training and development of our teams?
I think with any of these things, I mean, likewise, very excited to work with you guys on this, and I think there's always that challenge, right? So you always got that challenge of, it's very nice what this guy does in his little 40 cover restaurant, and does what he does, but how do we get that? How do we bring relevancy to your chefs?
Yeah.
How do we bring some of this? That's always going to be the challenge, and I am actually quite excited about that, because I think that we can work together with your team to make sure that they feel like they have got a window into something that's on not the cutting edge. We are not the cutting edge of the industry, but we're certainly at the forefront of the industry, and we're certainly doing things that are super up to date and of the moment. And if we can help bring your development guys and your head chefs into a world of what is the most up-to-date thing going on in the London restaurant scene, and they can take just a snippet of that, I think that's potentially really interesting for them. There, like that, and then we're just gonna go over the top of the fish like that, so it gets that little bit of heat, a little bit of that oil. Nice and simple.
And how do you see yourself sharing all of those kind of fundamentals and skills that you bring, Adam, with our chefs?
Well, I think we'll do a series of perhaps videos like this. We'll come and see you guys and do some demonstrations for you as well. And then, equally, if people want to come and work with us in the restaurant, that's a possibility too. So there's a number of ways we can get together. But it's a case of just trying to hone down on what it is that I do that's really going to help benefit your young guys, and how can they take. We've got to work out how they can take elements of what I do and extrapolate that out into their wider units. Then the last thing that we add, which is a little bit different, is a little bit of grated pistachio.
And what's that bring?
Green pistachio. It brings some more fat and brings a nuttiness. And when you eat the dish, you're quite surprised by it. It's not something you were expecting. I really love the fat of the nut on there. And that is our little ceviche of halibut with white beetroot,
lovely, and that's
ginger, lime, and pistachio.
Grand, and that's sitting on your menu at the moment.
That is on the menu at Trinity right now, as it is, like that. And
looks superb.
That's how it goes.
Thank you very much, Adam.
My pleasure. Thank you, Rick. I look forward to working with you.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic relationship. Can't wait.
Thank you.